Good evening. Welcome to another edition of African Americans Ain't Africans, the Think Show that proves without a shadow of a doubt that the so called African American didn't find their way to America in the trunk of a ship. I'm your host, the Indigenous One. And tonight we're going to look at life through another lens, so hopefully we can get a better understanding of our time and place in this time frame that we're living in. It's always a joy to share with you. And I hope these words give you the greatest upliftment. So, one of the listeners was asking, what we were talking about last time, uh, life starts at conception. And she was wanting to get more clarity on that because she didn't get it. Because she's pregnant now and she's like, she's getting it, but she's not. So, it's cool. So I'm just going to try to explain it a little better here. So remember, there's an artificial world. It's like the United States is an artificial world, and there's a natural world. The natural world is where most of your people come from. Now, depending on where you're from in the world, that has a lot to do with everything. What happened to your mother when she was pregnant with you? Important dates. That's why conception is important. What was going on in those days? Not just important events in her life, but just certain dates that we don't pay attention to because we're always on somebody else's time. The people who call themselves Black, African American, Negro, Hebrew, they're always on somebody else's time. They don't look at it from their point of view. So that's why conception, we'll get into it, but that's how conception, really works. What was going on while you were assembling yourself? You were being put together. You were forming. You were turning into something. What was that? And what was going on that helped you get to the state, that you were going to? These are important dates and times in our lives that we don't even pay attention to it. We block it out of our mind, never to think about it again in life. So we were ripping about that, and she just wanted to get a clearer understanding of what it means. So, so here it goes. Remember, you come from a natural world, but you wanted to be a character in the artificial world. Keep that in mind. You come from a natural world, but you wanted to be a character in the artificial world, right? That's what happened. So a lot of people try to run from it. Remember, you can't run away from yourself. Accept it as a fact and do something about it. That's all you have to do. Just change. That's all. That's all you got to do. Uh, in the natural world, your interaction is with the natural world. In the artificial world, you interact with things and characters. But in the natural world, you win with the wind blowing, the sounds the birds make, you know, uh, things that move life along. The natural world. Natural world always makes things happen. That's what man copied from, trying to make this artificial world pop. And it won't. It never will work. So since we've been out of the natural world, we just mainly deal with the artificial world. Things, that are not, they're not natural. They're things, they're robots. things and characters. Characters being not the real person. Everybody always got a different name. Everybody's always trying to be something else. Everybody's always trying to look like something else. Hardly nobody wants to be themselves. Right? Right? So everybody wants to be in the artificial world. Pay attention to that. Pay attention to that because you're seeing what it's doing to the lives of the indigenous people, the culture, the musics they make, the movies they make, the stuff that they're trained to do is all to destroy them. I mean, I don't see how you can't see it. So the conception, the energy that the man shares with the woman during creation, ask a woman about that. Because remember, they're creating a life form. You just don't do that by blowing on somebody's stomach. A whole bunch of energy is created, enough energy to light up a city block. That much energy. We don't even think about it. We don't even think about it. We waste. How much of that do we waste today? So, under the right circumstances, that energy can light up a city, but it's going to create another life form. Ask any man, he'll tell you. That's in the natural world, though. Bringing it to the artificial world has come with a lot of problems. A lot of problems. As the man is coming down from his high, the journey begins. It isn't conception yet, but this is the cold part where you can see natural nature at its fullest. It's starting to develop. Some women will tell you they can feel it happening. I think all women can tell you that if they knew, if they were tuned into themselves like that, but most are not. But some women can tell you that, yeah, they immediately. They are creating another you, another you. Now, that baby or that life form that can be created could be anything. Could be anything. So ask the young lady. So let's say conception hit. Let's say the point where the egg and the sperm cell come together. If you could hear that, what would that sound like? Because it does make a noise. No matter how small it may be, it makes a noise. What does that sound? Or what do you think that sound like if you could hear it? Because the process has initiated. If you could hear how a dog hears or another one of these animals, owl, whatever, hears, what would that sound like? Anyway, conception. That's where life begins. And you can see the artificial world prefers people who don't think at all. They don't think at all. The artificial world wants people that will do what the artificial world thinks, not people who think and figure stuff out. That's not needed in the artificial world. You can tell right now just by looking. The artificial world wants dependent, want people who can't push a wheelbarrow down the street. Serious. They want people who don't know who they are, don't care. Something more important on TV is more important than knowing who you are. That's with 70, 80% of the people. No one says their ancestors are rolling around in their graves if they can look at the shape that we're in today. I mean, pay attention to it. And you can't run from it. You can't hide from it. You got to look at it. And this is what I'm talking about, change. See, a lot of people not really into changing because they got comfortable in the artificial world, but try to act like they haven't. You have. In the artificial world and got time, just anything in the artificial world. Give you a good example. That rap music, that Puffy Combs stuff today, that music has been, that type of garbage has been in our children's ear for the past 30 years. And the majority of people still listen to that stuff. I mean, you would have thought 30 years ago, 60 years ago, you would have boycotted that type stuff. And what it has done to the people who have been in it is horrible. Just the death and the misery caused by it. We should all be ashamed for even listening to that shit. Serious. It's that bad. So this is what these little youngsters are born into today. The TV, the 5G. I mean, all this crap. What are they being born into? And then, depending on mom and dad, where they at, what they know, we know the vast majority of the first thing they go to is into the church. Boo! Really? Still on that? Yep. All you look at all of them. They're all ideologies and all religions that come from another place in the world. Damn. You don't even question that. All these religions come from somewhere else in the world, but those people are ditching their religions, coming over here to get your shit, and you cool, right? Ain't that what's happening, y'all? Come on, B, come on. See, you're scared of it, and you ashamed. You better acknowledge that shit and take it on and put it in your back pocket and keep going. Because we keep trying to act like we not fucking around, and we are. No, it's definitely not everyone. Oh, million. I would say millions, in the millions. But you got to remember, they always call you the minority, so you will think you're the minority. You only do what you're told. Remember, if they call you the minority, whatever they call you, the African American Black Negro normally takes what they call them and wears it around his neck like a necklace, right? So that's what these kids are being brought up to and listening to, what a lot of you were brought up to listening to. You are going to have to change. And this is the time of year where it's a perfect time to do it. It's easy. Start of winter. You're not moving around as much as you were in the summer and the fall. Starting to slow it down, can see stuff, can map out stuff. Now I know a lot of you, you know, was getting into Kwanzaa this week. So this is how you're cut off from the natural world. You're bought new ideologies, new ideas that are not yours, but you get on them and run with them and make them work for somebody else. That's basically what the foreigners use you for. You feel bad and act like you don't do it, but I'm telling you, you better acknowledge it because once you acknowledge it and you let that shit go, ooh, ooh, ooh. As far as the parents go on these new life forms coming in, about half of them still don't know who they are. When you tell them, they cuss you out. Can't tell you nothing. And they are not trying to go around and listen and learn like you guys are doing. Simple stuff. Just tweak your thinking, you know, to the north a little bit. You'll make a huge change. Change. And like I said, in the artificial world, everything you do everything every day. You do the same thing every day. It's repetitive. So it's hard to change because you're so used to doing it. Get up, brush your teeth, get up, brush your teeth, get up, brush your teeth. But you do that, not saying that not to brush your teeth, but everything is repetitive. To change and do something else, people that's a big move for a lot of people to make. It's change. And a lot of people just don't want to change. It's like smoking. All you're doing is changing. Like drinking. All you're doing is changing. There are so many different groups because people don't know who they are. The concept of unity eludes us. You ever see birds fly in a flock or fish swim in a school of fish? Or how about when buffaloes roam? How all those life forms, how they move in conjunction with each other? That's how we're supposed to be. If you think it's something else, you're totally wrong. How those birds all fly in the same maneuver, that's how, as a nation of people, we're supposed to be. Wouldn't stuff work for us? Not just you or not just me, but for everybody. We act like that can't be done. Or "Well, I ain't, you don't tell me what to do. I can do what I want to do." That type attitude. And just the people haven't decided that's the way it should be. And they just rather and they would just rather be a character in somebody else's book in the artificial world. So what we're going to do next, so all these ideologies and religions that over here that most of the so-called African American, black, Negro, colored, or whatever you want to call them, most of them, all of those groups that have infiltrated themselves into those people's group, because the black, colored, Negro, African American, all they are indigenous people here to America. And when I say to America, I mean Alaska down to South America. You just confine yourself to one state and you have to you have the energy give half the planet on you and refuse to use it. We'll take Islam, a heroin dealer. Now check this out. Check this out. A heroin dealer bought Islam to the Negro. Seriously. And these Negroes, and I mean, really. And we can't see it. And everybody suffer from it. Look, I think you see it. You got to be too embarrassed. A heroin, and this is simple knowledge. Simple knowledge. Copper color lifestyle says shaking my motherfucking head. This is where we are. So what we're going to do on the next program, we're going to name those, talk about those groups. All that Moors, Hebrew Israelite, you're going to be like, what? So you know that Moor stuff started in the circus, right? Check that cat. Check them cats out. Do some digging. You ain't got to dig hard. You ain't got to dig hard. It'll blow you away. And this is what we do. We inculcate our kids into this stuff. You got the mayor of Jackson, Mississippi now as an African, a Pan-African. What is that doing real time to the people in Mississippi when they don't know who they are? Tyron, what's going on, homie? So that's all I want to share with you guys tonight, is that on the conception. Life doesn't start at birth, it starts at conception. Things happen while you were growing. Important dates went by. What are they? You have to find out. You have to go back in the calendar and look it up. Like tonight is the first full moon of the winter. What does that mean? If you're developing in your mom's stomach, days like that mean something. That's nature at work. This is what goes on. Whether you listen to it or know it or pay attention to it or not. These are the things that go on. So we're going to be back later on in the week because I really want to get these ideologies, because if you just follow nature, isn't that what the artificial world is trying to do? Trying to mimic nature, but put all kind of stuff so they can just make money off of it. You don't do it for that. OJ's taught you that. So you have the power of nature at your fingertips. Use it. It's gonna work. I mean, that's what keeps everything going. You have a direct connect to it. So we're gonna be on later on in the weekend. Tyron is supposed to come on and uh, give me an interview about some stuff. When y'all hear this young brother, y'all gonna be like, damn. And that's what I'm saying. These young kids, they just going to read. They just going to read stuff. They just going into the library. Something a lot of us didn't do. We watched TV. We was watching the Mac. So, or simply ask yourself, you really want to see how nature works? Ask yourself. Have some confidence in yourself. So we're gonna be back later on in the week to, show you these ideology. It's gonna blow you. You after you finish laughing, you're gonna be like, I'll be damn. So pay attention, right? Like I said, we're in the winter. We're in the starting. We're in the dead of winter. It's just starting. Just start planning what you're gonna do when it starts warming up and you get a little bit more light and longer in the daytime. Start planning that out. Do a trimester. Form it in your mind. And if you're doing it with a group of people, you guys form, in these 3 months. Watch what you guys put together, whatever it is. All right, listen. So I'm gonna go ahead and we'll end it tonight. Hope everybody's doing well. Everybody stay well. And we'll see you next time. Peace.